Hello and welcome to the Butler Collegian Newscast. I'm Catalina Gallegos.
And I'm Nicki Clark.
Parts of Indianapolis are now looking better thanks to the Butler community. The annual Bulldogs in the Streets took place last Saturday and contributed over $90,500 in service this year. 1,250 volunteers participated on Saturday to showcase the Butler way to the city of Indianapolis.
ResCo is being renovated for the first time since its opening in 1989. Over the summer, 18 bathrooms were remodeled in the D wing, which currently houses mostly sophomores. These renovations include new vinyl flooring and a general lightening of the rooms. Executive Director of Student Living and Learning, Kathy Shellog, said, quote, "They feel like brand new units," end quote. Along with remodeling of some rooms, ResCo is also overturning their entire fire system, which has not been updated since the original 1980s model. These renovations will continue throughout the school year with little disruption of student life.
Butler's new Doctor of Medical and Science degree is set to launch this January. The program, which is accredited by the Higher Communication of Learning, will be one of 5 in the nation. Students in this post-professional physical assistant doctoral degree program will be given the opportunity to complete the course entirely online. To enroll in the program, you must have graduated an entry-level PA program. Students who have already graduated from Butler's 6-year PA program could pursue their DMS degree and earn a doctorate.
The third floor of Jordan is still undergoing construction. The current construction is in the west tower between the second and third floor. University operations are renovating the ceiling to fix a leak, which restricts the use of the stairwell. Many students and faculty have commented on the disruption that these renovations have caused. Sophomore Jamie Christian said, quote, "It's difficult trying to fit 50 kids on half a stairwell," end quote. Even with the frustrations this school year, construction in Jordan is nothing new. Last year, the building had a similar leaking problem in the East Tower. Despite these problems, Butler is determined to keep the almost 100-year-old building running.
Former Airmark employees who now work for Bon Appetit say the management is unaccommodating. Former C Club employee Denise Kimbrough, who is now working in ResCo, says Bon Appetit does not listen to their employees, especially in high-stress situations. Kimbrough said, quote, "Airmark really catered to the kids. Bon Appetit is more about making money," end quote. Bon Appetit is actively trying to recruit new employees after complaints of staff being understaffed and overworked. Now Chelsea Groves is in the studio with news editor Sorell Grow.
Thanks, guys. I'm joined by news editor Sorell Grow to talk about her latest story about 9/11. Now, with this story, when I looked at it, you got a lot of insight and reactions from students who were alive during the terrorist attacks. What was your approach when talking to these students?
So because the issue of the Collegian this week comes out on the anniversary of 9/11, it's the 18th anniversary, I wanted to do something to acknowledge that in memory. But when I was thinking about it, I realized that this year's first year class is the last class to enter college ever, like in history, that would have been alive during the attacks. And so from here on out, every class is going to have only heard about it through history books or from the words of others. And so I wanted to sort of dig deeper and see what that means for current first years, and then also people, older students and faculty who were actually alive when they happened.
And during the interviews with the students, what were the emotions like when talking to them about this topic?
So one of the students I interviewed he's actually 34, and he is coming back to college after serving in the Navy, and so he vividly remembers the attacks, and so he had a lot more of a sad and emotional connection to it. But then the first years that I interviewed, they understand that it's a tragic event and that it had a large impact on our country, but they didn't quite connect emotionally like the people who actually lived through it and have vivid memories of that day do.
Thanks for your time, Sorell.
Yeah.
Guys, back to you.
And to check out Sorell's article, you can visit thebutlercollegian.com.
Now to break down all of the past week's action, we bring on Jake Bedell for a look at sports. How's it going, Jake?
Things are good, Nikki. The women's soccer team split a pair of games this past week and sit at 4-2 records so far in 2019. The first came in a 3-0 win over Michigan State, a game that was dominated by the Bulldogs in all aspects of the game. Sophomore Katie Soderstrom and senior Macy Miller each finished the game with a goal and an assist, paving the way for a Bulldog victory. On Sunday, Butler traveled to take on the Milwaukee Panthers, and the scoring opened up early. Both teams notched goals within the first 2 minutes of the match, but the score would hold at 1-1 until the second half. In the 54th minute, the Panthers would reclaim the lead off a corner kick that led to a score. The Bulldogs would answer in the 83rd minute thanks to an unassisted goal by Amanda Kowalski, tying the game at 2. But the Panthers had one last effort that went their way in a game-winning goal scored with 2 minutes remaining, defeating Butler 3-2. They take on Illinois this coming Thursday. The men fell to 2-1 following a road loss to Marshall last week. The only goal of the first half was scored by Marshall's Jameel Roberts off a free kick. Once in the second half, Butler responded with a goal by Brandon Gould, who's put the ball in the back of the net each game this season. Roberts would find space again in the 63rd minute, leading Marshall to the 2-1 victory. The Dogs take on Wisconsin Thursday following the women's match. The football team had quite an interesting matchup against Indiana Wesleyan on Saturday. The Wildcats are an NAIA program only in their second season, but they still had the Bulldogs on a run for their money. After being scoreless in the opening quarter, Butler tacked on 10 points in the second from a 29-yard field goal and a passing touchdown to redshirt freshman Nate Rusk. The Wildcats had a 17-10 advantage over the Dogs headed into the half. Butler would respond with a receiving score by Brad Huth and a 14-yard rushing touchdown by Brad Snyder, giving the Bulldogs the lead 24-17. On the final drive of regulation, the Wildcats were given free field position in a series of Butler penalties, leading to a passing touchdown to tie the game as time expired. In overtime, the Bulldogs defense stepped up and only allowed a field goal. With the chance to win the game, the Bulldogs faked the option run to Brad Snyder, and instead, Sam Brown gives it to Steven Dennis on a reverse going the opposite direction, sealing the win in OT for Butler 30-27. A balanced Butler attack contributed to 441 yards of total offense. Sam Brown went 29 from 36 and threw for 2 touchdowns, and Brad Snyder rushed for over 100 yards. Butler takes on Taylor at home again this coming Saturday. The women's cross-country team has seen some action and has performed very well in recent competition. For more on that, we send things over to Chelsea Groves.
Thank you, Jake. A quick start for the women's cross-country team taking the team title at the Vic Godfrey Invitational on Saturday. The Bulldogs won the event with a team score of 19, taking the top 4 individual spots. The University of Chicago came in second with 39 points. Senior 3-time All-Big East first-teamer Josephine Thestrup won the event with a time of 17:43, followed by Maddie McLean, Mia Beckham, and Camille Hines, with Logan Ferngren coming in 9th place. Butler also won the Butler Twilight team title a few weeks ago, with Emily Royston and Angelina Ellis finishing 1st and 2nd. The team will race next at the Panorama Farms Invitational hosted by ACC member Virginia on Friday, September 27th. Catalina and Nicki, back to you guys.
That's all for this week's Butler Collegian Newscast. To stay up to date with all things news on Butler's campus, visit us at thebutlercollegian.com or on Twitter at Butler Collegian. I'm Nikki Clark.
I'm Catalina Gallegos.
And I'm Jake Bedell.
Have a great week, dogs.